What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and thank you for watching another video. If I'm wearing the same clothes as in my last video, it's because it's the same day, just later, and I'm going to be filming two videos today. So this is the second one from that day. But we're going to be talking about the common issues that you can be presented with when it comes to your Audi A3, your S3, your GTI, or your Golf R. These cars typically are actually super reliable, but there are little things here and there that could be kind of annoying, and they're known to be common issues. So we're going to go over that in today's video. So in today's video, we're going to be going over 5 different things. So if there's anything else about these cars that you know that could be a little common issue point, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be listing the 5 that I know are usually the most known about. So let's get right into it. So reason number 1, and this is going to correspond to just the manual transmission, guys, unfortunately, and that is that the GTI and the Golf R come with some of the weakest clutches from the factory. One of the very known things in the Volkswagen and Audi community as of a couple of years ago with the MQB platform is that the manual transmission clutches that the cars come with stock from factory are really bad, unfortunately. And usually when you tune your car or do some very basic modifications, they start to slip, and you need to spend a lot of money to replace them with a good unit so that you don't have any problems. These clutches are even known to slip on stock power after a little while, so that is a big issue. And in my personal experience, everyone that I talk to, all the groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, people that I talk to on Instagram, on other social medias, etc., always say that once they tune their car like stage 1 with nothing else done to it, the clutches just start to slip, especially when they start doing bolt-ons and go stage 2 and you add more torque and more power to the car. They really start to just give out. Now, obviously, I know there's going to be some of you guys out there that have a stock clutch that are on stage 2 for the past 40,000 miles and you've had no problems, and that's great. But the majority of people are having issues with their clutches, whether that even be stock or on a little more power from stage 1 and stage 2. So that is a big issue. That's number 1, is the weak clutches that these cars come with from the factory. And the thing that sucks with having the clutches be so weak from the factory is that if you want to get a good clutch kit, let's say like a South Bend stage 3, if you're not going to do the labor yourself, the clutch itself is already over $1,000, and let's say you're paying more labor, like let's say another $1,000 or more, depending on where you go and what the situation is, you could be spending anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 on a clutch installation with the clutch as well. So that kind of sucks in that sense. So now we're under the hood in the engine bay of the car, and the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the timing cover leaking oil, and your PCV going to be leaking oil too, which could cause a lot of problems and even cause a fire if something happens. So the timing cover on these cars is right here on the side. They are very prone to leaking oil, unfortunately. That's not a huge issue because typically they won't leak over towards the downpipe, but in the case that it does start leaking that way, that could be a very big fire hazard. So one thing that usually does have to get replaced when you either have an A3, a GTI, S3, Golf R, etc., is the timing cover here. That just gets sealed back up and everything is good, and it'll stop leaking oil. Now, the more dangerous one is going to be your PCV valve, which I'm not going to take off the engine cover here, but here's the hose that goes to the inlet, and then it comes over this way. Now, back here, there is 2 little O-rings that hold the valve together with the screw, and these are known to leak a little bit of oil. Now, the problem is this: as you can see, the hose that goes to the inlet sits right over the turbo. So if this hose somehow creates some kind of leak and you get oil starting to drip or even spew out, if you're having a PCV valve issue, you can cause a massive fire and lose your car. You could get hurt. It could cause fatalities. You could lose your car. There's so many different things that can happen because the turbo literally sits right under it. So that's something that you have to be super careful about. Make sure you check this hose and this system right here every, maybe like once every couple of weeks, just to make sure that nothing is leaking, because if you can catch a leak in time and change it to avoid any kind of catastrophe, that would be great. Because if you don't and you get a lot of oil that starts to leak on the turbo, this gets extremely hot, and this goes up into flames. You're going to lose your car, and that's very unfortunate. You could get hurt, others could get hurt, and that'll just cause a really bad situation. So we're going to stay under the hood, and the next thing that is super unfortunate with these cars is that they typically have water pump and thermostat housing issues. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that unit is actually all-in-one in these cars and is located down here in this area on the front of the engine right over here, and they tend to leak. So if you're driving or you pop your hood and you smell like a very sweet like coolant smell, it is most likely that it is leaking. Or if you have a puddle towards the front of your car in this area right here, it is most likely that your water pump is leaking, which is unfortunate. But the MK7 and the 8V Audis aren't the only generation Audi or Volkswagen that have a problem with coolant system issues. All of these cars throughout the years have had some kind of coolant issue, from the Mark 6s, the Mark 5s, the Mark 4s. For some reason, all European cars, either like your Mini Coopers, your BMWs, your Mercedeses, they all have really weird cooling system issues. And it's really unfortunate because of the price you pay for the car and whatnot, but it just seems that no matter what kind of European car you own, they have some kind of coolant system issues. And something like this could cost hundreds of dollars to replace with the part and everything like that. So if you are mechanically inclined, it would be good. But if you do notice a coolant leak around the front of your engine in this area, again right here, where the water pump and the thermostat housing sit right there, it is most likely one of those two things. And since it is a unit, you're gonna have to replace the whole thing. So now we're at the roof of the Audi right here. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the sunroof. Two different things. So number one, with the A3s, the S3s, GTIs, and Golf Rs, a lot of times they tend to leak. Sometimes the drains in these cars get clogged up and then they start to back up into the car, and then you have issues where you'll get water down in your footwell right here in the front, or even in the back. You'll see that under, I have some stuff back here, it is a little dark, but you'll see here on your floor that you'll have a little puddle of water. It's because the drains are getting backed up and coming into the car and leaking inside. Now, we're gonna be focusing on this piece of the roof right here that's also gonna go kind of along with what the sunroof is, but this piece that's separate from the rest of the roof tends to crack, unfortunately. Like, you'll see slits that go down sometimes, or in different places up here that they'll crack. I'm gonna put a picture on the screen right now so that you guys can see what I'm talking about, but it's super unfortunate because a car that costs a lot, brand new, whether you're getting an A3, S3, GTI, it's unfortunate that these things happen because these cars are supposed to be built very well. Luckily, I've checked both of my sides. I check it constantly, and I have no cracks. I don't know if it has to do with the possibility of just the vibrations and everyday driving that causes that piece to crack. Like I said, I'm going to be putting a picture again on the screen. Now, I don't know if it's just my imagination, but I feel like I've seen that happen more on the GTI than it has happened on the A3 and S3s. I know it's happened on some of the Audis, but most of the time when I hear that happening, or I see pictures or people complaining about it online, it's mostly happening on GTIs. Again, I don't know if that's certain. Maybe the GTI panels on the roof right there is a little weaker. I have no idea. It just seems that I've noticed them more on GTIs, but I've been lucky. I don't have any cracking on mine. I put a picture in the previous clip so you guys can see. So that's going to be the fourth thing that is a combination on these cars, which is super unfortunate because then that's got to be replaced or fixed, and then that just sucks, and it's just money that you got to spend after spending a lot of money from buying the car. So it's just unfortunate. So that's number 4. And number 5, which is going to be the last thing, and it's going to probably be one of the most annoying things, because if you don't know about this issue that can happen to you, you might not be able to find a way to resolve the issue, and you're going to be throwing money at your car and not fixing the problem. And that is going to be the direct injection system, which causes carbon buildup. Now, since these cars are direct injection, it causes carbon buildup in your valves and it causes carbon buildup in your intake manifold. Now, why is this bad? Because this can do a lot of different things. This can make your car misfire. This can make your car have issues starting in the morning when it's cold outside. This could give you issues when you're driving and you're getting like bad fuel mileage. This could cause issues in performance. This could cause so many different things. And the problem with the carbon buildup is this, that if you don't know about it and you don't get a walnut blast, which basically essentially what it is very grinded up walnut shells, and then they use like a pressurizer, and then they clean all the caked up carbon on the valves and in the intake manifold. I'm going to put a picture right now on the screen to show you what a really bad buildup of carbon is on the valves, and then a clean one right after. So now that you saw that, that can happen to these cars, no matter whether you have the A3, S3, GTI, or Golf R. That can happen, and if you don't clean it or you don't check on it, like I said, it can give you a lot of problems. And a lot of times people think like, oh, if I have a misfire, bad spark plugs, or they might think, oh, I have a bad coil, and they start putting money into the car and it doesn't fix anything. They'll put new plugs, new coils, they might even change injectors, and they still have the misfire. So then they're freaking out, not knowing what to do, taking it to a mechanic. And obviously, depending what shop you go to, if you don't go to a reputable person, they might just take your money, know exactly what the problem is, and not want to fix it, depending on where you go. Not everybody's like that. And then if you really don't know and it gets to a point, you might think like, oh, that the car has a bad engine, and then maybe you want to sell it, maybe you get rid of it, maybe you junk it. I don't know what you do with your car after that if you don't really know about it, but that is something that can arise. So if you get a walnut blast, that is something that is definitely very manageable when you take it to a shop and they clean it for you. But that is going to be number 5, is the carbon buildup. So anyways, guys, that's going to conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Honestly, these cars are super reliable. There are little common issues that happen with these cars that any car that you buy is going to have some little issue here and there that's common, that unfortunately comes with owning that. And when it comes to these European cars, it is a little more expensive to repair. But if you know what to do and what to look for and try and take preventative actions so that these things don't occur as often as they can, you should be okay. If there are any other issues that you guys know about these cars, please leave it down below in the comments. Let me know what happened to your car. Let me know other like little common issues and problems that these cars may have. I feel like these are the 5 things that are super known in the Volkswagen and the Audi world when it comes to these cars. Again, like I said before, these cars are actually really reliable. There are a lot of people that drive tuned ones over 120,000 miles with 0 issues. Some people get lucky and not have anything happen to them. Luckily, in my situation with my S3, everything is good so far. I have no cooling leaks, so I know the water pump and the thermostat are fine. I have no oil leaking anywhere. I check that very regularly, though, just in case something does happen. I could catch it in time before something worse happens. So there's that. That's another thing, guys. Please make sure that, and you should do this with any car, not just these cars. Any car that you own, you should be popping the hood regularly every couple of weeks, just to make sure everything is good. Check the oil, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure your fluids are topped off, things like that. I like to do that every, I don't know, maybe every week, every 2 weeks. I'll pop the hood and just make sure that everything is okay, because I'm very worrisome when it comes to that stuff. So I want to make sure the oil is good. I want to make sure the coolant is full. So that's just the way I am. But anyways, if you guys liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.